not gangster. That's very not gangster.
I came up, got my name up. So when they speak of who blinged up, I'm who they bring up. Come up dissing and you'll come up missing. I'm a cutthroat baller like O.J. Simpson. I came up, got my name up. So when they speak of who blinged up, I'm who they bring up. Come up dissing and you'll come up missing.
Say that again. I couldn't hear you over the sound of me myself.
I done came up, got my name up. So when they speak of who blinged up, I'm who they bring up. Come up dissing and you'll come up missing. I'm a cutthroat baller like O.J. Simpson. Little homie, listen, try and serve me. I put a 25 in your back like Barry Bonds jersey. On the streets, on the beach, y'all ain't able. Cause to our shit on rappers like major labels. What's with the ice grilling, homie? Change your face. This heat'll do more than tan you to change your race. Girls love metaphor, and I love them back. Addicted to getting head, chicks call me the brainiac. Battle rap with words, war like jihad. I write dope, flow crack, my notepad need rehab. Fuck y'all CDs, y'all can't see these or touch these. Rhyme so chronic, my songs give you the munchies.
Normally I would have music playing that would get my partner hyped up, but today I'm not going to do it. Just going to get right down to it.
You want us to like beatbox or something?
I mean, if you got them skills, go for it.
I really don't, but you know.
I mean, go ahead and hit them flows.
Hey.
All right, thank you everybody for tuning into another edition of the Definitely Fresh Show. It is I, Mr. Tone Deaf. And unfortunately, my partner in crime, Juan, cannot be here today because he's handling his managerial duties, but I'm not alone in this one today. I'm actually being joined by one half, actually the better half, of Real Bar Talk today. I got my boy Tori in the building. What's good?
What up, though?
We coming live and direct to you from the Regal Beagle tonight. But we're not alone today. As you know, we're actually going through our podcast appreciation month. And this week, we're actually joined by two lovely young ladies who are doing big things in the podcast world. I am joined today by the lovely Sherry and Chanel of Brunch with Besties. My bad. What's going on, ladies?
Hey, we're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. So what's been up with y'all?
What's not been up with
Right.
We tired.
We are tired. Yes. So a lot of things have been going on.
Well, that's good. So let's start from the beginning. What made y'all get into podcasting?
Funny you should ask. I was against it 200%.
I love this story. Yes.
I think Chanel was probably against it 100%.
Yeah.
And then we actually had two other besties that really wanted to do it. And so Chanel and I wanted to give it a try and see how things go. And then somewhere maybe around episode, I don't know, 10?
Yeah, about 10.
10, somewhere around there. They decided to focus on other endeavors, and we decided that we're still besties and we can still continue this on, and we became passionate about it and decided to continue.
Wait. So the ones who wanted to do the podcast ain't even the one doing the podcast.
Right.
They listen and they support, but they don't actually do it with us.
Do they even come on air with y'all any times or hang out with y'all?
We've had one. Before
periodically.
Yeah, periodically they'll come on, and we'll talk about them. So
yeah, I mean, it's no hard feelings or anything like that. It's just that things change.
Of course.
They changed.
Yep, and we're still here.
And we changed because we initially said no. So,
yeah,
hey,
right.
We even changed.
Everybody changed.
Everybody's
for the
guilty
good.
of change.
There we
So
go.
that's what happened.
Yeah,
that's
what had happened.
Now, with y'all, like I said, I've been listening to y'all for a while. And one of the cool things about y'all is y'all actually got picked up by Good News Radio.
We did. Woo-woo. Yes. Shout out to them.
In LA.
Yes. Shout out to them. That was a really awesome opportunity.
So how'd that come about?
They slid in our DM.
Yeah.
They slid in our DM.
They came to us.
And they said, wow, you guys have a really nice sound. You know, how do you, what are you using? How do you record? They started asking us some questions. And they said, one thing that a lot of podcasters don't understand is the quality of sound, how important it is.
Man.
And they said that, and also consistency, right? So recording every week, being on time, et cetera, et cetera. And they said, we think that you'd be a great addition to our network. And we said, syndicated in LA.
Right.
Don't mind if we do.
Sounds good. Right.
What do you have to say, Mr. Carson?
We saw all the lights.
Right there. If I'm not mistaken, our sound is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, because I fuss at you every week.
Look, I'm a man that wears many hats over here. Some days I might grab the wrong one.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
but we still are great.
It does happen. So we're lucky enough to, we record with Everyday Media. So shout out to Dude, he's a part of why we sound the way we sound. But it's in part, too, on us for just being passionate about what we do and being passionate about what we put out to people as well. So we don't want to put out anything that sounds crazy or anything like that, because what we do represents who we are as people, as women. So we're very conscious of how we sound and the things that we talk about and what we put out. So
that's what's up. So as being a women pod, do y'all guys find yourselves struggling to get y'all voices out there sometimes?
You know what? I feel like we've been asked that before.
Yeah.
Not directly, maybe indirectly.
Yeah.
But certainly not directly. And I don't think it's necessarily, or at least I haven't experienced it directly about us being women, but I will say about our type of podcast.
Yeah.
Right. I think that people are more into, they think podcasts, it needs to be explicit or it needs to be something, because podcast means you get to say it's unfiltered. You get to do whatever you want to do. So people usually go all the way left, and we don't do that.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't felt it directly either. I will say, I just think in Milwaukee there is a large presence of women who podcast, and I think we do all have a different sound, and we reach different audiences, but there's that respect amongst us all to be like, wow, we're happy that you all are doing what you're doing, and they do the same for us.
I
So
will say that
it.
our podcast community has embraced us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say, or at least I will say the Black podcast community.
For sure. We don't know what everybody else doing.
That's right.
The others, but
Wait,
as
there's a
far as
white
Black
podcast
ones,
community here?
there has to be. I'm sure
There is. Yeah, there is.
I don't never see none of them.
Because
Maybe they just hang out on the east side.
Probably because you
Maybe
never
so.
searched any of them.
There you go. Yeah,
Maybe
they're out there.
Okay, I gotta look into that. Get some white
Black
pods out here.
podcasts just in general is a very small subset of the whole group. So.
This is a true statement. This is a true
Yeah,
statement.
because there's a podcast for everything.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
For everything.
on Instagram. Like I told you earlier, dude, when I created a new page for us, so many podcasters came out the woodwork, just liking the simple fact of the name. I'm like, the
Because you
hell?
got millions of podcasts.
Right.
Yeah, there's
I
a
listen,
podcast for everything. You said that right.
Yeah, I listen to Murder and Mysteries at work. I
Yeah,
listen
me
to
too. I started
political
listening
ones
to the
at
one
work.
too.
The political ones is what really got me attracted to them
I
because
listen to religious ones at work. It's a podcast
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
For
for
everything.
everything. Yeah, for
That's
everything.
even my job
There's
got one.
podcasts about podcasting.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not even
So-
gonna lie. When I first was learning how to do this side of it, I literally was sitting there listening to people's podcasts who explained to you how to do it.
Yes.
Oh wow.
They would teach you what equipments to use,
Yep.
what to do with this one, how to make this possible, how to avoid this from happening. Little things that I was noticing when we got serious about doing the podcast side of going away from internet radio. And they were literally just like every episode. Well, this is what I use. This is what I do. This is how we get around this loophole. This is how we dealt when there was no hardware you can buy for under $100.
Yeah.
So they were all these different things. I'm like, damn. Like, I felt like I just went to school for free.
Hey,
Right. Hey.
that's
In
what it's
regards
out
to
there
that.
for.
But speaking of podcasting, you guys, like you said, you definitely have a different sound. How would you describe your pods for those people who will be listening for the first time?
I think it starts with our mission, right? To heal and help others as we heal and help ourselves through purpose-driven conversations. So we talk about a variety of different things, but purpose is always the common thread or the common theme. So it always comes back down to that. And we have cried on this podcast. We share all
we talk
types of
about
stuff.
everything.
We have all types of guests. We try to be open to different ways of thinking and just different thoughts. Sometimes we read books that we may not even really agree with, but
Yeah.
we read them just to,
There's definitely
get a
one
different
book
perspective.
you guys did that I've been into because of that.
Which one?
Which one?
What was the one about the guy who looks like shredded women in the beginning of the book?
I forget the name of that book.
It's like
Women Like You.
yeah, and men who don't love
Abuse.
women like
Women
Yeah.
don't love women like you.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that book. I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
well, gee.
Yeah, he was calling us all types of
Like, he
was like,
he
okay.
ripped y'all apart in that
He
book.
did.
He
But
did.
You know,
But he
hey,
had a purpose behind
will
it.
say-
There was a purpose.
I agree
behind
with
it.
a lot of
a lot
things
of it. I was like,
that
okay, I guess I am that, huh?
Right.
So it's all about reflection. And on top of that, what Sherry Renee was saying, I think for us, it was the goal. The immediate goal was for us to. We wanted to share our conversations that we had as a friend group, as a best friend group, and we have really profound conversations just for no reason. Like we'll just really get deep and start crying, and we'll bring it back and we'll talk about something that happened 10 years ago. Like, our conversations are so like dynamic, where we was like, we should be recorded, and it's like people should hear, you know, what we are talking about. Because I think when people see us out in a group, they're intrigued by our group. Like, okay, what they got going on? Like, we can't really figure y'all out. Like, y'all a little ratchet, but y'all classy, y'all this. But so nobody really can put their finger on who we are as a group, which I think is really cool. So we bring that to our podcast, and
So
I think
ratchet.
you know, I couldn't even pinpoint on that. You could call it that, but we're so much more. We're very much multi-dimensional.
multifaceted.
Yeah, multifaceted. So yeah,
That's what's up. Now, what made y'all get into doing the actual book reviews?
I think it's because, well, for me personally, I love to read. Like I said, I like to open up my mind, and even if I don't necessarily agree with it, I at least want to understand people's train of thought. Like, why do you do this? You know, why does that make sense to you? So, not only that, but people need to read. People need to read a daggone
yeah.
book.
And I think that was the point of it. Like, people just should be reading, and other
we
pods
wanted
don't do
to-
it.
Yeah, we wanted to encourage people to do it. And then, you know, we ended up getting an affiliation with Audible.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, well, then we should be encouraging people to read a book.
Yep.
And then we should cover it. And then, too, if you can listen to a podcast, you can at least listen to a book.
Same
You know how long
difference.
some of them audiobooks are, though?
They're long.
some of them are.
12 hours
It's a
long.
podcast, though.
There we go.
I know,
Hey,
it
do an
is.
hour a
Chapters.
day.
Like, I
There
have
you
to
go. Do
listen
hour
to,
a day.
Like, I got Michelle Obama's book. I got to listen to that in sections.
Yeah, you
I do.
Oh, that was cool. I was listening to that like 8 hours straight.
I was
Like,
too.
it was
I cleaned
a
the
great
whole
book.
house. I mean,
Yes.
closet is so organized, y'all. By listening
That-
to Michelle
yes,
Obama.
that was a
book.
great
Michelle
book.
went into everything, though, from
did.
living at her new house to
It was
dealing
great.
with it. That was a dope book. I
It
recommend
was.
anybody get that book.
Yes.
Real talk.
Now, some of them I did have to do it in chunks because I was just like, I can't. Like the TD Jakes one, just because the person reading it, I was like,
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, the person
So-
reading makes it
The
huge
voice
difference.
makes a difference.
Yeah, so that one was a hard one for me to sit straight through.
But if the content is there to me, it makes it a lot easier. Because if
Oh,
I can
yeah.
get into it, I'm like,
Right.
wow, what are they talking about?
I
Like,
agree.
Yeah.
It's a college professor that deals with the dispute of people disputing religion. And there are a lot of people that, you know, don't agree or, you know, with the fictional thought of there being a God or a Jesus or whatever, and he deals with that. And his thinking is just so abstract. It just keeps me drawn in the whole time.
All right.
So for me, the tone of Men Don't Love Women Like You, like because it was so like
Out there.
abrasive and out there, I was like, wait, what is he gonna say next? Like, hold on. And then once you get past like the explicit content, then you realize, okay, what he's saying is actually true. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
be open to just considering what he has to
The
say.
guy who they got reading the book made it funny.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was hilarious.
Because he really made it feel like a white dude. Just really
Yeah.
you just got basic bitch tendencies.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
hilarious.
It's, to me, that's what made it the most
Yeah.
funny.
Hilarious.
Is the white voice, because
Right.
you know the guy is bliggity black.
Yeah.
Right.
Bleeding
Like the
out.
way he
Yeah.
was reading the words, like a black person wrote this book.
Yes.
But the way he was reading it, it was like, dog, really? Like, this is how he feels.
Yeah. But the same with Conversations with God, which is the book that we're currently
Yeah, I was
doing.
like, that's the current one. y'all on.
At first I was just like, what is this? Like, why are we reading this? But as it goes on, it's just like, okay, like I can listen to this.
Yeah,
Like, it
because y'all on,
definitely
like, what,
flows.
part 3?
But that goes into what y'all said. You know, you got to see people's train of thoughts and why they think the way they think.
Yes.
A lot of people get cut off in the first paragraph, maybe even first sentence of anything anybody says.
Oh, for
Right.
sure.
Right.
Yes.
If you were to
that's a
just come
fact.
out and just say, you know, I hate bitches, you're going
Right.
to lose a lot of people there.
Right.
Nobody's going to listen to why you said that or how you
wow.
said it.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
that could really,
No, you're right.
that could stem from childhood trauma or anything, but
For
you
sure.
won't know it because everybody shut it out the first sentence you said it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And not only that, but we want people to really be able to learn from our podcast. And one way to learn is to read. You know,
Yeah.
you
Especially getting
don't
black
know
people-
what you don't know.
Yeah, and getting
You
black
just
people
don't.
on board with that, because, you know, they always say, like, if you want to hide something from a black person, like, put it in the book.
Put it in the book.
So,
It's true.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on and preach.
Sadly,
There
that
we
is
go.
true.
yeah, so
That
we
is
just want to
sadly
uplift
true.
our people and our communities, and let's read together. And to talk about it, I think, is fun, too. Like,
Yeah.
when we share our thoughts and our perspectives about it, and then people who listen to our podcast, they'll DM us like, yeah, I thought this, or, you know, then we have this whole network of conversations about these books that we've read.
Exactly.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Exactly.
Now, Chanel, this is not the only thing that you do. You have a blog you work on as well, too.
Yes, I do.
How'd that come about?
Well, Singles in the City came about a couple years ago when I was single and living in North Carolina, and I hated it, and it was boring. So I was really just trying to vent and meet people and vent to people about what it was like being single. And it kind of blossomed and took on a whole form that I still don't think I fully embraced of what it can be, but it just kind of took off and people related to it. So many people, men and women, were like, yeah, I feel the same way, or I had these experiences. So it's been a journey with Singles in the City.
That's what's up. I actually like it. Every once in a while it pops up on my IG. I go check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're far from single.
I know. I've been slacking too, so.
But I mean, that's pretty dope.
Thank you.
It is. I think a lot more people need to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not single, you learn something new.
I agree.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive into the topic today. Normally my partner would be done crack like 8 or 10 jokes in regards to the topic. But today we're going to do things that have changed in the rule of dating. Mm-hmm. Basically, we came up with about 10 things we've noticed that has changed from dating before that is now 100% acceptable, and we don't know why.
All right.
I can't wait to hear
right,
this
I'm
list.
ready too, because I'm like, okay, what's going on?
All right, first thing on the list. Old rule used to be dating only one person at a time. You sit there, you put your time and effort into that one person. Now, the new rule is dating freely because there always could be somebody better out there. How do you ladies feel about that?
I don't think that it's changed. I think that men were multi-dating and women were dating one man at a time. And I think now women are saying, if they gonna multi-date, we're gonna multi-date.
And I would say I don't think it's multi-dating because somebody offers something better. But I think if you look at dating like the interview phase, then I'm not just going to interview one person for the position of, my heart and my love and bae. No, I'm going to interview a bunch of people because I need to see what you all offer. And that's okay if we're just dating. Like, that's not a problem.
So y'all cool with everybody out here dating anybody and everybody as long as when they make up their mind, they done. It's just you and them. For
sure. So you need to be clear about what it means to date. So dating means, are we going out? Are we being social? Like, what does dating mean? Because I think if you're clear in that stance, so if I'm dating a guy, but I'm dating multiple guys, I'm going to let them all know, like, I'm dating everybody. Like, I guess I'm thinking of it, like, in a sense of, she's got to have it. So kind of in that sense, but she was sleeping with all of them. So you really have to be clear with what does it mean to date? What does dating look like? You have to identify that.
I think what I'm cool with is people communicating their intentions and what it is that's really going on. What I'm not cool with is people lying and creating some sort of facade. I will say, though, that when people multi-date and other people see it, it gets confusing to the viewer. Yeah. Right? So, like, if you're posting a picture and you're on a date and then somebody sees him out with another girl, they're going to be like, ooh, girl, let me tell you. They're going to slide in your DM and say, I just wanted you to know. It ain't none of my business, but I just wanted you to know. So I think that you have to be prepared to take on the consequences that come with whatever it is that you're signing up to do.
Because we're so used to this microwave. Like, just because you see me on a date with somebody doesn't necessarily mean we're together and then we're going to get married the next day. Like, we want things so instantly. But it's just like, I don't know him. He can talk to whoever he wants to. Like, I don't care.
Right. I also think that people should date with a purpose. So you shouldn't, in my opinion,
I agree,
multi-date for long periods of time. So if you're still dating these same 5 men for 6 months, then what is it that you're trying to figure out? Because they've already showed you who they are.
So. I would 2 snaps to that.
All right. Old rule. Only talk to people who call me, don't like to text. Now it's text away. Text me all the time.
Is that a new rule? I disagree. I don't know. I think that in order to text somebody, you have to have a foundation. You know what I mean? Like, Chanel can text me all day. We've been friends since the 99 and 2000. So I know how she's saying it. I can pick up on her context. I can pick up on her body language. You can't do that with somebody that you just met. If I just met somebody and all they're doing is texting me, I'm probably not responding.
Yeah. And for me, I just got in trouble with this, actually. So I thought that I wanted to strictly text because I'm not a big phone person. Only people I talk on the phone to is probably like my mom and my kid, and then Sherry if she call. And that's really it. Like, I don't want to talk on the phone to anybody, honestly. But I've learned that in dating and in relationships, you do need to have those phone conversations because a lot of things can be misconstrued via text or just misinterpreted. And it's just a lot of headache after that. So then I had to kind of backtrack and say, okay, well, I do need these actual physical phone conversations because we're miscommunicating. And it's because we're texting too much.
I also think that you get a false sense of familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like when people are online dating and they're like in love, I'm using air quotes, with people. They think they know them, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when people, to some people, texting is a game.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are good at it.
And you can totally be or say whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's just fine. But then when you have to have these like in-person conversations, you don't know how to communicate with that person. It's easy to send an emoji or a quick LOL or whatever these text words are. But to have a full-fledged conversation with somebody, that's a different ballpark. And I think if you don't have those skills, then you'll pick up on that real quick when you pick up the phone. And you don't know what to say.
Okay, Sherry, since you're the phone one of the two, how long do you deal with the texting before you say, hey, if you don't call me, I'm done with this?
Not very long at all. I think it depends on what my intention is with the person.
Okay.
But I would say either if I do tolerate it, then I'm putting you in that box.
Mm-hmm.
So then don't try to cross that line because I'm going to put you right back in that box. But if I think like, oh, there may be something there, then you probably have the first 2 days.
So 2 days if you don't get a phone call.
Probably.
Basically blocking them in the DMs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to probably block them. I'm not mad, right?
Hey, some
not
folks
upset.
be like, I ain't wasting my
But
time.
I'm just
boy.
saying, I'm not mad. I'm just saying that I don't think that it's probably a good match.
Okay. Got any words for this, Carson?
About texting?
Yeah.
I'm married.
Said, I'm out.
It makes no difference.
You're useless to me today, bro.
No, texting it's all subjective. It's all how you read whatever somebody wrote, and it's hard to decipher that sometimes. If somebody doesn't put an LOL after something, that means, in theory, they were strict in what they were saying.
Right.
And it really could have been a joke, but they forgot to put the emoji or the LOL after it. So now a whole, catastrophic series of events happen because you misinterpreted that text message.
Or you always put the LOL behind every question you ask. So,
Right.
No, we didn't. Damn.
Siri on it today.
Right. Hater.
But talking is quite important.
It is.
For, like, when me and Bill first started dating, we stood outside on the corner and talked for a whole hour.
Them be the best ones.
Those are the best
Them are the best ones
yeah.
when you have
2:30
no
in the morning
purpose.
on 3rd and Center.
Oh, not on 3rd and Center,
Center,
though.
but
Wait a minute, are you waiting for the
right.
check cashing place to open up?
Right.
No, we were at Lux and we started talking.
Oh,
in
okay, y'all was at Lux.
And then we went
Okay.
outside and
Okay.
we stood on the corner for like an hour talking.
And nobody recommended moving to a safer
Right.
location.
Nobody pulled up
like
on y'all.
going back in Lux.
It was the
like,
grace of God.
I know
Yeah.
that's right.
In his defense, that is a familiar area for him
Okay.
anyway.
That's
For me, but not for her.
Like for him, it's a familiar area.
No, that's the best. Like the in the face conversations, like outside, like summertime. Those are nice.
And mine literally gets upset if we don't have a conversation. If we don't have a conversation, then she starts arguing to have a conversation.
Meanwhile, mine
Hey, either way, she gonna get that conversation.
Right, mine will go a whole day and a half, and we can just have 4 words, but have a whole text thread that's been going on for weeks. I don't know. That's just
That's
how we've been
funny.
rolling. All right. Now, this one has always been a touchy one, so. All right, old rule. Guy picks up the check for everything. New rule. Chivalry's different, but it's not dead. So, for you ladies, how do y'all feel about paying for the date sometimes?
I'll let you
Man,
know.
I'm waiting on your answer.
Chanel go
I'm waiting
first.
on your answer.
Well,
Don't anybody.
for me, I don't mind paying for dates, like if I'm planning something. But I'm not going to do that immediately into it, especially if it's somebody new. Like, I need to see, what you own before that comes about. Like the first few dates, no, I'm not going to pay for them. If you choose to take me out, and if that's, you've planned it, you were like, okay, let's go out, then I'm assuming that you're paying for it. But if I say, hey, you know what, like, let's go bowling, like, I'll pay for it. But if he's like, I've dated guys where they're like, yeah, no, you're not going to pay for it, like, whatever. But I will do it if I'm planning it and I'm like, hey, like, let's go do something. Then I don't have a problem with that. It's not going to be within the first, like I said, the first couple months, no. Because I need to see what you're doing.
I think that initially the guy should pay for it.
Yeah.
I do think that when a guy is paying for dates and things like that, he's pursuing you, he's making an investment. And I think that that's showing his commitment to further along the process of getting to know you. So I think that it's only fair that at some point you have some form of reciprocation. It may not necessarily be a payment, but maybe it's a dinner. It's something. I mean, hey now. I ain't saying she need to go and pop on a handstand or nothing like that.
But if she do, we not going to say no. That's what we saying.
But I do think that at some point she has to show that her shared fate. Right, that I'm willing to invest in this as well. So however she chooses to do that is on her. I will say that I have offered to pay for some dates after some time, and typically the guy says no.
Yeah, they'll be
Shouts
like, no.
out to them.
On the real.
But
y'all the real MVPs.
But so then I was thinking
They
one
just
day.
got that bonus that day. That's all.
I was thinking one day, like, I can't. My little streak has been good. Hopefully nobody calls my bluff, and I actually have to pay.
You have to pay. And he's gonna be like,
right. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this.
Listen here, like, oh no, I was just kidding. I didn't want to go out.
Right, exactly. I didn't even like this. No, but I do think that I think that there needs to be some level of reciprocation.
I agree. And there's nothing wrong with that, but not within the first ones. And again, if you've read my blogs, like, you'll know, and I was very transparent about it. Like, I would be overly aggressive. Like, I would pay and I would, like, take guys out. But then I was just like, what I'm doing all this for? Like, you need to pursue me. So then I really had to step back. And my boyfriend now is really big on, like, let's date. Like, let's go out.
And I will say, too, that my whole thought process when it comes to paying and the guy doing it first comes from the idea that I think that men should be pursuing women. And I also do think that when a woman pursues a man, she will get him. Now, she may not get him how she wants him, but I think that she will get him.
Amen.
And I think that women are more often will say no to a guy.
Yeah.
Guys, they may not want you to be they boo, but they will mess with you on some level. So
at whatever level they
choose.
And listen here.
And ain't nobody got time for that.
At all. Not in 2019.
Not in the 19.
There's some people that will debate that, but
Hey.
we will move on.
There we go. Moving right along.
I don't care. All right. Okay. I didn't even know he put this on here. All right. Old rule. Men make the first move. New rule. If you want it, go for it, ladies.
I'll let Chanel go first.
I mean, she kind of just answered this one a little bit.
Kind of passing it along, ain't you?
Right.
I
I think she's like a really old school person.
think that that's true.
Yeah.
Like
I would
from
agree.
listening to the show, you do have
yeah.
like an old school
Yes.
1950s style dating mentality.
She does.
Okay, I would agree
But
with that
that's what's up.
statement.
I don't know. I'm very forward. I will say, like, if I like a guy, he'll probably know it. And if I don't like him, same thing. He'll know that I don't like him because I'm going to be very forward. But I have stepped back a little bit and just kind of been seeing where it goes. Like, I'll be cordial, I'll smile, bat an eye here and there, but I haven't been like, yeah, I like you, like, I want to be with you. Now, if this was me in the 9-9, I would have totally been like, yep, you fine. I want to be with you. Like, let's do what we do or whatever. I don't know. But now as I've gotten older, it's definitely been like, okay, let me see what he comes with. And I haven't been as aggressive.
So you're not against sliding in them DMs?
No. I would say if you want to, lady, slide in there and see what he says. But if he's on some, like, okay, like games and stuff, and right away, like, by what he's on. But I've seen it work in several occasions where it absolutely works for women. And, they have wonderful relationships. So I'm not going to say don't do that. Because if it works, that's wonderful. But if you see that he's not on what you need, and if you're being intentional and purposeful on what you want as far as a man is concerned and what you want as far as a relationship, then go for it. But if you don't see that that's what he's going to give to you, then you need to renege on that DM.
I would say that I think, in my personal opinion, it's important for the man to lead the relationship. And so I want him to do that in every step and every phase of the relationship. So I feel that if I were to take the first step, then I'll probably have to take the second step, and then the third step, and the fourth step. And she ain't doing all them damn steps.
So have you ever slid in them DMs?
No, I have not.
So what do you
I have responded to DMs, but I have not.
So what do you do when there's a guy you feeling, but he ain't looking in your direction because you don't know that's a possibility?
I think that there's different ways to let people know, but I will say this too. I'm not big on, I don't know, like I've never been, you know how a lot of times when people have a crush on somebody, it's strictly physical.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've never been that type of girl. I think a lot of guys are cute. I think a lot of guys are handsome.
But that doesn't
that's
fluctuate.
totally not enough for me to have interest in them. There's a lot of handsome men, right? Hell, I'm cute, right?
Yeah.
A lot of women are.
Right.
So that's not enough. So in order for me to really think somebody is great, I have to actually know who they are. And in that instance, if we're in that space, then I probably batted an eye or two.
Yeah.
Did a slow blink. I don't know, something. Did something to let them know. But I would not be that forward because, like I said, I like for them to make the first move so that they can continue to progress the relationship.
I don't believe you. I honestly think there's one or two guys that you done, slightly rub their arm, asking what they doing later.
I don't think so.
No. Listen, I'm like, in however long 18 years, however long we've known each other, it's a no. She's never done that.
I'm
and
totally
it's been so, like, I've tried to convince her, like, just, slide into him or try to ask for his number. She'd be like, no, like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just like, okay. Yeah.
Could have been missing out on the man of your dream.
It's true, though. I agree. If she makes the first step, there's going to be some
it's going to be some more.
But
for sure.
I don't get how now it's acceptable for men to be a leader on some things and not others. Like, for instance, you slid in his DMs to tell you like him or whatever, and you want him to take you out.
Right.
But now he's expected to pay for every day.
Thank you.
That
Come
makes
on.
no sense whatsoever.
None at all.
He didn't pursue you then.
And
You pursued
not
him,
only
and
that,
now you want to reap all of the benefits of him having pursued you, but you actually pursued him.
And that's the thing. If I slide in the DM, that is now my role. I am now the pursuer. So now I set the pace for everything. I don't want that responsibility.
You came to me, all right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Would you accept those dates? Well, let's just say you wasn't married to Mel. Chick slid in your DMs and she was like, hey, let's go out. She pays for everything. You cool with that?
I would never let that happen. You know me.
I know. I'm just.
I would never let nobody pay for me.
Would you
especially a female.
You gonna do split the bill or pay the whole thing, then?
Pay the whole thing.
I will say this too, though, is just to add some context to my perspective. I do have a brother. He's 1 year older than me. We are best friends. I have seen women pursue him, and I have seen him have kids with these women and not even think they was cute. You know what I mean? Like, just stuff like that. I've seen how he engages with women based on the way that they were introduced. And I always said to myself, when I saw him in certain situations, I will never be that woman. Yeah. I've seen him treat some women really great. And I was like, yep, I'm going to be that woman. He was pursuing her. He wanted her. This other woman, he didn't even care.
Yeah.
Ain't going to be her. So I think that I have a different perspective based on what I have witnessed.
And that's understandable. What you see makes a difference.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It does. And I mean, different things work for different people. So I can't be like, no, I would never, like, never have I ever type of thing, because I probably have. But I definitely have learned that route didn't necessarily work for me. Now it might work for somebody else and some other people, and that's fine and dandy. Do what you do. But like I said, if you're not being purposeful and intentional about what you want, then it's not going to work either way.
And two, those other people may be fine with what they have gotten.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I think that we're kind of assuming that they're dissatisfied. They may have gotten what they want.
Right, absolutely.
So, worked for them.
Right, as long as it worked for you, hey. But if it
do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you what I ain't going to do.
I know that's right.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. All right. Playing the waiting game. So like the 90-day rule stuff that some odd reason came out of nowhere.
And all came from Steve Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Think like a man.
I've heard people say that before. They
did.
They just wasn't put on paper until
that's
he did
true.
it.
Yeah, and she was saying that on Girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or before that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Now the new rule is, fuck it. If you want to go for it, go for it.
Again, I just feel like people gonna do whatever they want to do. Now, if you're talking about us specifically, like I know we'll be like, no. Like we'll definitely try to be like, okay, no. I know for me, I've definitely not waited 90 days, to be honest. Like
I don't think nobody
haven't.
honestly has really
There are people who do wait, and there's nothing wrong with that because they have those standards and they have this, like, this is clear cut. This is what I'm not going to do, and that's awesome. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's different strokes for different folks. So I will say I don't know if that has been a changing thing. Like I feel like there's always been women who have been like, no, like I'm gonna wait until marriage or I'm gonna do whatever. I don't know. And there have been tons of women who are like, same day, what's up? So I don't know if that's been a change though.
I don't think that it's changed. I think that people are being more honest about it.
Yeah.
I think that back in the day, people they was doing it on day 1 or day 3 or whatever, but then they would be like, oh no, I would never. Oh God, I'm a lady, you know? And so I think now it's become more acceptable to just live your best life or live in the moment.
Yeah.
We got all these things, YOLO and whatever. So people are doing whatever they want to do. My concern is for people to be safe. So know that whatever you do, there's consequences that come along with it. So don't be mad when next week when you pregnant and somebody else is pregnant and y'all having a baby in the same month. That's what you signed up for. You didn't know him. Don't be mad when now you're complaining about child support. Well, you didn't take the time to get to know him. You slept with him on day 1. Don't be mad when now you got some type of venereal disease. You didn't know him. And if he slept with you on day 1, who else is he going to sleep with on day 1? You got to make no commitment. You literally don't know him. Yeah. Same way with the guy. You don't know her. So if you contract something, hey, you can't even really be mad at her. This is what you signed up for. So my message is for people to, when they sign up, know what you're signing up for and don't complain about it.
Read the terms and conditions.
Read the terms and conditions. This is the contract.
We definitely live in
and sex is a covenant. So it is literally a contract.
We live in an instant gratification type of time right now. Like everybody wants what they want and they want it right now, like instantly, microwave. Like I don't want to wait. And that could be either good or bad. I don't know. But if you choose to do what you do, again, like Sherry Renee said, be careful.
And I will say, too, even if let's just take diseases and kids and child support and all of that noise out of it. But even when 5 years later he sees you talking to a guy and he's wondering if you slept with him, that's still a result of what he saw you do with him. Now y'all been married 5 years and he think you cheating. You're like, I would never. But he's like, would you?
Right.
Because you slept with me the first day we met. So I don't know. You know, I think that all of our actions and the things that we do, it says something about who we are, and it is a reflection of our character. And if people misinterpret it, they do it based on what we've shown them. So we have to be responsible for that.
Where is Carson?
I don't know. I don't know if I agree or disagree. Because one element's been taken out of it. We live right now in a sex-driven culture.
This is true.
So now if you add that into play, is it really fair to say, you know, people jumping into bed with other people, are they thinking about consequences when they wouldn't? Because all day, every day, no matter which way you look, what you listen to, you're hearing sex. Whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you turn on the radio, they're singing about sex. You turn on TV, they're talking about sex. You're looking on Facebook, you're reading about sex. Mm-hmm. So you're starting to think that this is just the norm.
Right.
Yeah.
So even without thinking about it, if we're having a conversation in text message, something is going to lead to sex. Whether it's a joke or a meme or something else. Mm-hmm. And now I'm trying to see if you're going to go, or you may be trying to see if I'm going to go. And those are the results of it.
All right. Well, the funny part is you just rolled into the next one, which is no sex until the 3rd date or later. I remember hearing a lot of people talking about that. To test out the chemistry as soon as you feel like it. Do it when you want to do it, which is definitely, like Carson said, the norm now. Mm-hmm. People don't even date no more. They just wait 7 days and fuck.
Shit, wait that long.
Right.
Like, I'm always honest, and I tell people, me and Mel, I wanted to sleep with her. That was it. I just wanted to sleep with her. I did not make that, into, I want to be in a relationship with you. I want to, do all this other. I'm like, let's go out and kick it, Netflix and chill type stuff.
Right.
It was her that actually put her foot down and like, nah, with this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Which actually,
What made you flip it then?
Huh?
What made you
actually getting
yeah.
to know her?
Yeah.
So after I got to know her, because that was not the intention.
Right.
The intention was to sleep, and I used the most simplistic way of explaining it to people. Before you have a conversation, before I hear you open your mouth, I hear your voice, whatever you've done in school, whatever allocates you got, I see you.
Yep.
So I made up in my mind, oh, she's fine.
Right. This is what I want to do.
It's not abnormal. People act like, oh, no, I didn't want to sleep with you at first. You're
Right.
lying.
I personally think that that's always the intent, right?
Yeah.
Especially with guys are physical beings. That's the attractiveness that happens in the first phase, right? Is wonder what that'd be like,
Right.
What made me take the second look? What made me turn back around? What made me say, hey, yo.
Right, exactly.
I saw you. I can't look at you and say, oh, she got a banging personality.
Right, exactly.
Her mind is
her mind
open.
is
right. I can see that.
She is so bright. Intellectual.
She is a Rhodes Scholar.
But once you get to opening up and you get to talking to people and you get to sharing pieces of yourself and they're sharing pieces of themselves, then it's, well, I still want to sleep with you,
but now
I want
now
to talk
I
to you.
Right. I may want to talk to you too.
Yeah.
Right.
Now there's some depth to it. It's just not physical. There's some layers being built.
Yeah. And as long as those layers are being built, it's much like steps.
Mm-hmm.
You can't jump from the first to the 10th step. You need the second, third, fourth, fifth. And as long as you keep talking to them, having experiences going out, and then stuff that you can look back on.
Right.
Like, oh, man, that service last night was terrible, wasn't it?
Right.
Now y'all having a whole conversation about something that happened last night. And as long as you keep on doing that, you're coming closer and closer together. That maybe y'all were having sex, or maybe y'all are starting to have sex, but the sex is like secondary.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
not a
will say
relationship
this,
built
though.
on sex.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But I think that typically what happens is when people first meet and they start having sex, they're not aligned, and so people have different intentions. So maybe the guy just wanted to have sex. Maybe the girl said she just wanted to have sex, but we be lying when we say stuff like that.
We do.
And then we're like, and how come he didn't call? And how come this? And how come that? And
So are the guys.
where you see him at? And, it becomes like this whole thing. And then next thing you know, in most cases, the girl ends up trying to pursue this guy and trying to convince him that she's worthy of being in a committed relationship with
him. Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you gonna just meet up and have sex, then agree to that.
Right.
Hey,
But even then, like you just said, somebody, one party or the other, because men do it too. A lot of people don't believe men have feelings. That's very much not true.
They don't. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
We have feelings.
I'm just playing.
We just cry in the shower.
You've ever had a guy
like
that
Hermit. Right.
That's where it came from. We just cry in the shower.
I mean, I'm sure you've had that guy that, out of nowhere just flipped out about something you did when you thought it was just something totally different. You thought you were going to be cool and be friends, and he just flipped out. Indirectly, he's showing you that, he wanted it to be more. He may not have acted that way. He may have said it, but
yeah,
he wanted it to be a lot more than it was.
Yeah.
He wanted you to be his. He may have not been able to say it because men are at a disadvantage, especially black men. We're at a disadvantage, and a lot of people don't take that into consideration.
Facts.
One, there are not a lot of black fathers in the home. So who's going to teach us how to be men?
Preach. Yeah.
Who's going to teach us how to pursue a woman? Who's going to teach us how to treat a woman? So we have to go off of what we see on TV or what we hear in
what you
music.
hear in music.
Right. Toxic masculinity is what you see.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you got other women.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. Right.
And I'm not saying that women can't raise men, but I mean, as efficiently as another man raising a man, it's not going to help. So you got a woman who may have been scorned herself teaching a boy, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, or, don't be
based
like
off what she believes how a man should be treating her when she doesn't. It hadn't even begun.
Like I tell people all the time, the reason I probably am married and the whole one-woman man thing is because my father been married to my mother for 30-something years.
Shout out to your daddy.
That's
I
awesome.
watched my daddy, take care of my mom and stuff. And I wanted the same thing for myself, but a lot of guys didn't. So I understand why they bounce from woman to woman to woman because they saw their daddy do it,
or
they didn't
lack
have
thereof.
Yeah,
And
they never had
Chanel and I were talking about this because in our generation, our fathers were absent.
Yeah.
But these millennial dads,
ooh, they so
shouts
tight.
out to
Yes.
them. Like, they active, they combing hair, they at parent-teacher
Yes,
conference.
millennial dads
like,
are
they're at the
amazing.
park. Like, they doing all
Everywhere.
kind of stuff. So,
We don't want to be our dads.
I'm really looking forward
Yeah,
to
we'll see
seeing
a different breed of children. Well,
yes,
those adults,
to
those
see
children
how,
that will be
how they
adults
grow
will
up
be
and how
different.
that group interacts, because I think that our generation right now, we are miscommunicating. Men and what we are
big
just
time.
miscommunicating, because, like you said, the men that are born to the women who have absent fathers, they probably calling all the girls fast tail hussy. So then the guys thinking, oh, they fast tail, I'm just gonna sleep with them.
Yeah.
Because that's what you said they were. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then we were taught by our single mothers, and he ain't gonna beat her, and he ain't gonna do this, and he trifling, and he did. So
you
we
can do
already
it by
said,
yourself.
you trifling.
So, yeah, I can do it by myself.
I'm gonna be
and
independent.
better. Yeah.
I ain't gonna depend on you for nothing.
Ooh,
You
yeah.
know, so it's just we are just our generation right now is really suffering.
We are.
We just are.
It's not an excuse. It's more of a reason.
Oh, yeah.
So you have that aspect. As far as black men go, I can only speak from what I am. That, and then you have to look on the other side of the coin. Are black men? They come into relationships and they don't feel like they're respected. They feel like they're emasculated. And the reason being is because black women make more money than black men. Women are more educated than black men. So you got a black man that comes into a relationship or a household, and the first thing he thinks is her house, her car. She's got everything. She's willing to let me stay here or whatever, but that first argument when, oh, nigga, you ain't got shit and all that.
Right.
Nah, he's emasculated. So
yeah.
Instead
Right,
of,
you just said what I've been thinking for the last 3 months, right?
That is so true. But that's in part of being raised by, like Sherry Renee said, that single woman, that I do have to do everything by myself because the man is not here. So,
well, this is for a
sink or
different episode.
swim.
I think that's all the government trying to control the black home. But
We here now. Let's do it.
That's
It's a
a
true
different
statement, though.
But I will say too that's why it's important for me to have the man lead the relationship,
But how do you
I
do
want
that
him
when you
to
don't
know.
know how?
Well, you don't know
That's what I'm
how.
trying to
That's the
do.
biggest
No,
thing.
and I agree with that, but that's why for me it starts even with that first initiation, because I don't want you to feel like I'm overpowering you. I don't want to step on your toes. I don't want to do any of that. Like, I am very old fashioned. I want to cook. Hell, I want to clean. I want to do all of that.
that's it.
Right. Right.
And that's it.
Like, I want to do all of
See?
that. Like, I want to take care of the man in a very feminine way. I want to be submissive. I don't want him to ever feel like, oh, she make this and that. Okay, she went here, she got this degree. Yep, all that's true. But I don't ever want him to feel that way.
Yeah.
But I agree. The way that things are constructed right now, I've had men say to me, you don't need a man. Like, what can I do for you? You know what I mean? And I know a lot of women say, like, oh, I don't need a man, I want a man. Da, 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 da. But men need to feel needed. That's it.
Yeah.
And the whole love versus respect
That is
thing,
such a true
that's
statement.
real. If you disrespect, a man will, again, we had talked about this before too, how men men can cheat on us and we might take them back and blah, 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 blah. 9 times out of 10, some men will. Right, but a lot of men won't because
They
it's
won't.
so disrespectful.
Yes. Yeah. They out.
It's so
Yeah.
you can do a lot of things, but what you can't do is disrespect.
They
Right?
are out. And it's funny because I think that goes back to our upbringing too. Like, your parents were married. Your mom was very much like that nurturer, cook, clean type of woman. Whereas my mom she was in relationships, but she was definitely like that. This is my stuff. Like, I got my own house. I got this. Like, very independent. Like, we don't need you. I'm taking out the trash. Like, I still find it hard for me to just relinquish and be like, okay, you can take the garbage out. Like, I still cannot do that. Like, it's hard for me to let that go because that's how I grew up. So now when my boyfriend does come over, he's like, okay, I'm going to take out the trash, I'm going to shovel. I'm like, but I can do it. Like, what you doing? Like, I don't need you to do that. So I have to take a step back and be like, chill. So
You a
that's-
rare one.
It's
'cause
a real big. It's a
It
very
is.
big
It's huge.
disconnect. It's a
It
huge
is
gap,
huge.
and it goes, even to like from the time I get up in the morning.
Right.
I get up, I get up at the crack of dawn. I go to work. Well, I work at a job where I'm not only the youngest, I'm the only black that does what I do. Now it's a union job, so everybody
Jesus.
makes
Right.
everybody makes the same amount. So now I got all these old old heads, you know,
Right.
white people that, one, I can't have a seat at their table.
Right. Yeah.
Two, they respect me next to none.
Right.
And would make everything impossible. You deal with that for 12 to 14 hours a day.
My goodness.
And then you turn around and you come home.
Yep.
Now, you
Yeah.
already dealt with all that, and then you come around, come home, and
Yep.
then you feel like at a disadvantage because you feel like the person that you're living with or the person you're in a relationship with doesn't respect you. So now you don't feel like a man at work.
Yep.
You don't feel like a man at
Come
home.
on.
Yes.
And what are you supposed to do with all
Right.
this? You're not going to have a healthy relationship with anything or anybody.
And I agree. I think I agree 100% with all of that. It makes it very difficult. Going back to what you said, Chanel. So my mom and dad were married, and then they got a divorce. And then, you know, my dad ended up having like a horrible drug addiction that I didn't know about. But then my mom divorced him, and then she got with my stepdad. They didn't get married, but they stayed together until I was maybe in high school. But then at that time, when she separated from him, he still said, those are my kids. Right. So he's always been very active in my life. Now my dad done got cleaned up. He's a pastor. He has a wife. They've been married for 10, 11 years. And she is very much like my mother in the sense that she caters to my dad.
Yeah.
Like cooking dinner, clean,
She's
like,
so sweet. Yeah.
she's very sweet. She does all of that. Also, mind you, I have my brother. My brother has always taken care of me. When I was in high school, he would come meet me when my class ended and walk me to the next class. He would sit with me at lunch. He would drive me to school. You know, all of that type of stuff. So I think that influences the way that I see relationships and my expectations of men. And that's why, and I never wanted to make a man feel emasculated, right? Sometimes we do and we don't know that we are.
That's true, yeah.
Right? It's not intentional,
Unintentionally, yeah.
but it still happens.
For sure.
And for me, I have a stressful position at my work, and I'm the only black person and the only woman, and I'm the one who has to make all the decisions sometimes, and people relying on me for that. So when I come home, I don't want to be in charge. You know what I mean? I want somebody else to be the hell in charge.
What should I do? Right.
You just tell me what we gonna do.
What I'm doing.
Like, just do that.
Something that really wouldn't spark an argument, and it sounds like, you know, minuscule. It sounds minuscule to y'all, but it would be catastrophic to a relationship. Dealing with what I just told you is coming home and nothing's been cooked.
Man.
Yes.
Because now,
Yes.
I mean, and there's a lot of psychology behind it. You've dealt with all that at work,
Right.
Now you come home, you're irritated, your body's beat down, you know you're frustrated, and then you come home and there's nothing cooked.
Yes.
So now you feel underappreciated.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
You go
hungry.
Yes. You mad.
Angry.
Because all you want to do.
Yeah,
like,
it's,
And you know when people are hungry, they are pissed.
Yes, you are
That's the worst
mad
thing you can be, is
with a
hungry and
T.
cold.
Yes, you
Yeah,
mad.
but just take the hunger out of it. Now you just feel like you're underappreciated.
Yeah.
Right.
You like, dude, I just did all this all day,
Yep.
and then I come home and there's nothing on the stove.
And that's why I think it's so important to, at the beginning of the relationship, have those conversations
Exactly.
about what roles you intend to play. Because again, like we said, I intend to play a certain type of role, but I'm also, I'm working. You know what I mean? And so while, you know, my stepmom, she has group homes and things of that nature, but for the most part, she's kind of a stay-at-home mom. So she does cook and do things like that. My mother, before she had to work, because, you know, my dad, she was a stay-at-home mom. So, you know, that's kind of what she did. So I think that sometimes it gets confusing because it's like, well, I was at work all day too. So how come, you know, and different couples play different roles, and shouts out to them. I never want to set the tone for what should be done. I'm just saying what I intend to do. Right?
Yeah.
So shouts out to the crock pot.
I know that's right.
Because I would agree. Things can go left real fast with that, because it's like, I've been in hell all day. This is supposed to be my peace, my sanctuary,
Like,
and I'm on my own
for me
for
to, you know, take some ground beef out.
And that's kind of how my mom was. Like, she would always cook dinner, and maybe that's why I'm so like, I don't need to, because I feel like my mom always did it for me. So now, and I get laughed at now, like, well, you don't do nothing. You're 30 years old, now you don't do it. But
there's a chick on Facebook waiting with a plate.
You right?
Yes, she is.
So now
is.
you're scrolling Facebook
Jesus.
and they cook.
He
and you like, can I
hungry,
get a plate? And
right.
she DM. I'm like, yes. That's. I mean, seriously, it's not
Social
being funny.
media
That's
has
when things
really
like that
made a
happen.
lot of things change.
It is, because it's
That's
that
real.
one piece.
Nobody
It's
does
that,
a root cause analysis on anything anymore.
Speaking-
There's always a problem.
That's
a root
great.
to the problem.
Yeah,
Yes,
for
it
sure.
is. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's good.
But that's, you know, I think that's where the 20% of what's missing is just calling out to you, and it's being magnified, and it looks like 80%. Like, oh, she didn't make dinner today. This girl cook every daggone day. But that girl's a hot mess. The girl that cooks every day on Facebook, that knows you married, that's entertaining this conversation, she's a hot mess. You know.
Yeah.
But at that time, it stands out, right? And it's appealing. But that's why I think it's so important up front to say, like, hey, are we rotating dinner? Are we going out to eat?
Have
like
to have that conversation.
Same thing with how you want to raise your kids, how you're going to interact with church, and just all of that stuff. Like, that needs to be ironed out. And that's why, going back to my previous comment, why just looking at somebody and thinking that they're cute, that's not enough for me. I need to know what your values are, what your beliefs are. Are we in alignment? If we're not in alignment, I don't care how fine you are, because I'm going to hate you. You're going to be very ugly to me, you know, in 30 days.
Yeah. But you got to get to that point, too.
You got to get to that point.
Because I was the, you know, oh, she fine, this, that, and the other, yada, yada. Now I'm at the point of, even though I'm married, and for some odd reason these things attract women like flies, but
because you're
unavailable.
No, I think
you're unavailable.
I think
You have all the right things.
They think you do.
Yeah.
So I used to wonder, why do rings attract? Because I have a ring that I will wear sometimes, and it was just a band. It was very similar to that, except for it was black, and I just thought it was so tight. But when I tell you that men will be like, oh, so da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like, really? So you think I'm married?
And you still going.
Like, whoa.
that's how they open the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, so you married?
Like,
why are you over here?
That's right. If you think I'm married, then why are we talking?
They shoot more when they see the ring.
But I will say this, though. I think what it is that a ring says you're willing to commit. And women are finding it difficult to find men that are willing to commit. So they're saying, if you committed to her, maybe you commit.
You roll right into my next question.
I'm not saying that it makes sense.
Yeah. It's
dumb as hell. But right. It's real.
That's what's out there.
It's
real.
And that's funny. Y'all roll right into the next rule. Old school rule, date for the intent of getting married. New rule, dating to enjoy the moment.
There has to be some end game to me.
Yeah, no. I didn't know that was a new rule, but I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people are just dating for the moment. Marriage is not on the table for people anymore. They're cool with just shacking up and having kids together.
Because I've seen, know some that 4 or 5 years and they still happy just being together.
It's a no for me, dog.
I think that we've all heard people say, like, oh, we're just having fun.
Right.
Or we're just hanging out, or we just kicking it, or whatever. So I don't think that that's a new rule. I think that it's become more acceptable. I think that people, because of social media, and I think also because people are kind of trying to defy the whole construct of marriage.
Yeah.
Right. So they're just saying, well, we don't got to be married. That don't mean that we don't love each other. That doesn't mean that we can't function in this certain way. But two, I think that it says that I'm not fully in, and so that means that I can walk away. Right.
Yeah.
And so
I think people are just trying to make things fit for them at that moment, like what
this
works
is what I have,
me.
so now this is acceptable.
Yeah, so whatever works for me at the time. But I think when it comes to dating, there has to be an end game. There has to be a purpose and a point. You have to be intentional about it, because time is we're not guaranteed the next day. So I'm not gonna waste time with anybody. Like if I see signs and it's not working, and all of these things are happening, it's a wrap. Like I'm out, because time is limited to everybody.
I think that that's what we say, but I think what actually happens more often than not is one person is being intentional, and then they just end up accepting whatever the other person offers because they don't want to let them go. Okay. They want to let go. They don't want to let go of whatever it is that they have, even if it's not a relationship, it's not a marriage. They just don't want to let it go because they don't want to be alone.
So they deal with their situation.
Right.
Yeah, and then they call it great.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Oh, me and we've been messing around for 5 years. Oh, really?
Yeah.
They only post the good stuff online.
Yeah, it's their highlight reel.
And that was in part why I started Singles in the City, because I think people needed to know that it's okay to be single. Like, we all need that season to kind of get ourselves together and really figure who you are out. Because if you have traumas and stuff that you're dealing with, and then you try to bring that to somebody else and they got their trauma, and then y'all trying to make stuff work, it doesn't work. Like, being single is not a disease. It's not the end of the world. Like, just chill and find you and be by yourself.
I will say too that people act like it's like it is a disease.
They do.
Be like, you ain't got no kids. You're
single?
What's you crazy?
Listen, I'm good. What you mean? Like,
because that's what they say. Like, if a woman is single at whatever
over
age,
30, single
over 30,
with no
she
kids,
must be crazy.
Something must be wrong.
Something's wrong with her.
Coming out of the 70s,
right.
and 80s, when at 18, 19, women were getting snatched up and getting married.
Right, because guys seen a good thing right away.
But
and
on
locked it down.
the other side of that coin, men weren't really considered to be men unless you had a wife and kids. So
It was a status symbol.
it's just a different day and age.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, last one, because we getting kind of late here. And he has to work in the morning.
All right, at the crack of dawn. All right.
Yep, 2 a.m.
Right,
2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gotta look out for my boy. All right. Every day that's planned compared to now, everything is last minute invites. And I've seen this a lot, especially on social media, where they'll just pop on. Like, oh, okay, I'm bored. Let's go do something. Then guy slides in the DMs. They go out and they dating now. Mm-hmm. So how do y'all look at that? Do y'all like pre-planning stuff, getting schedules together? Especially because I know you two have kids.
Yeah. So that's huge for me. Like, don't, and that goes for anybody. Like, my friends or the person I'm dating, like, don't just pop up on me because you don't know what I got going on. Like, check with me first. I just don't like that. I think it's inconsiderate, especially for the fact that I do have a son and he's very much so active.
Very.
So you
he's
just
super
can't
active.
be like, yeah, let's do something. No, my kid has a game or he has a tournament or I have a work event. So it's been a lot. So that right now doesn't work for me at all.
And so while I don't have kids, I am very active. And so no one can invite me to do anything at the last minute. It could be friends, family,
I know that's right.
boo,
Anybody.
whomever. It just ain't going to work. Because and I actually have to put me time on my own calendar. So I don't care if it's me binge watching something on a Friday night because that's what I chose to do that day. If somebody invites me to do something, be like, oh no, she's booked.
Right, that's my time.
What are you doing? It ain't none of your business.
Me time.
Me time. Right.
Worry about yourself.
She's booked.
No.
She is. My
But
calendar
yeah,
is ridiculous.
no. And I just think that, I mean, no.
And also, to me, it says that, let's just say that I wanted to actually go out somewhere and someone invited me at the last minute. I consider it so unthoughtful and disrespectful that I would just say no. You know what I mean? Now, you might see me at the place that I said I wasn't going to go with you, but I'm not going with you because, again, I consider it to be like, oh, so I'm your last minute thought?
Yeah.
No. I need you to have intentions with me, and clearly you don't.
All
So.
right.
You
Tori.
talking about on a dating scene?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about in general?
I'm going to go with you in general.
Oh, in general?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't mind because
I know because you and Mel got a busy schedule, so y'all got to...
sometimes it just be that last
Right,
minute,
you ain't got
know.
no choice.
One
Sam
of the kids
left.
decide they want to go spend a night somewhere and be like, oh, snap.
You don't know how many times me and Teresa be like, oh shit, the girls are gone. What are we going to do?
Like, call
I don't
Texas,
know.
they Brazil.
What movies are available?
Yeah.
And they just end up going to sleep.
Yeah.
I get that once you're married, like
Yeah.
trying to make it work and figure it out.
Yeah,
But,
I think you have to seize those opportunities when
Before
you're
that,
married.
yeah. My son, you asked me what my son had going on first, so no.
That
So
is
no.
true. Dog is
What
balling.
I hate when people
Yeah.
ask
He
you,
ball more
what is
than a
it that you're
professional.
doing?
Too
Like,
much.
that's
Thank you.
what I find offensive is when people say, like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? It don't matter. What do you want?
Right. Like,
Be in the most
Like,
innocent
oh.
way. That's a rude ass. Innocent.
No, I don't actually respond that way, but that's what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't none of your business because it don't matter what I'm doing. If I don't want to do what you want to do, I'm still not going to do it. I could be
basically-
not busy at all.
and,
No,
but
that's like a
I'll-
conversation
yeah.
opener. In my
Yeah.
opinion, it's a conversation opener. It's
But then
like, hey,
I'll
what are you
feel
doing
so
tomorrow?
bad.
In order to, ask you the question.
Like, I'll say no,
Chrissy.
but then I'll really take it hard. Like, oh, I wish I could be there, but no. Like, you're just not going to spring
Yeah.
this on me. Like, I will really beat
So-
myself up about
So
it.
basically, Sherry, what you saying is we need to send you a Google Calendar invite.
no,
April.
I'm not saying that
Either
you
you
need to do all
accept
that.
my Chanel.
I would prefer that, though.
Yeah, she sends a lot of Google calendars to me, which I,
do.
love
I
because she
do,
keep me on my
because
toes.
if not,
I
when
have a
I
question
tell
for you.
y'all, I
For
will
me?
double book.
Oh, okay.
So now, if we were like, say we were dating, and now you don't know this, so
Okay.
just act like you don't know it.
Gotcha.
I somehow somebody gifted me, 2 Jay-Z and Beyonce tickets, and it's the day before the concert, and then I hit you up about it. It wasn't necessarily that I was trying to be, last minute or whatever, but now that's what you take it as.
See,
I think that we would all clear our schedules for Jay.
no,
Like,
no,
no,
Like, it's just Hey,
but I'm not
clear my
though,
damn
because I'm
schedule.
like, is my hair done? Is my nails are like, I'm gonna really be mad. Like, you need to tell me, because I ain't gonna see Beyonce looking crazy. Like, it's a no for me, dog. Unless you trying to take me to the salon real fast and like, no. But I'm out.
It's Beyonce, bro.
Yeah.
They gotta look good.
I'll
Maybe it
clear
was
my
Riri.
schedule.
She might be
No,
like,
I'm
I'd
definitely
clear my
out.
daggone
I'm
schedule.
I mean, no matter the event, it's just,
And
it's
took off from work
last
the next
minute
day.
things,
Might
but
make it support
it's
y'all.
just
I think it depends on what. I think it depends on what I
you
perceive
get
the
hungry when you
intention.
leave this place.
You know what I mean? If the person is in general planful and then something happens, then I'm gonna be like, oh, this must be abnormal.
Yeah.
So roll with it.
Yeah, that's
You
what
would
I'm
know.
saying.
You know
You would
what I
know
mean?
that person.
But I think that if that's a habit, then I'm gonna be like, bro, I said no
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
You know, like stop asking me the day before. It's a no. But
No.
if in general it's, you know, like there was this one guy that I was dating. We knew every Saturday we were going out. We didn't know where, but we knew we was going out. We knew what time. Like we kind of had a routine.
So you had a block of time set aside.
Yeah,
for
we
him.
we had a routine.
Yeah,
So
and that's kind of what we do right now too. With my boyfriend, like we'll talk and then we'll be like, "Hey, so what's your week looking like? Like, what you got going on this week? What meetings do you have?" And then we'll kind of fill in the gaps from there. So
Oh, that's nice of him.
yeah. Sorry,
I mean,
just kidding.
so some women would.
I was waiting. I was like, she gonna do something petty.
No, it's cool because some women would actually think that if a man trying to figure out your schedule, he trying to find time to cheat. I mean,
Oh, wow.
I didn't
no.
even think.
I mean,
of that.
black men don't cheat.
But
so
now-
that's not
no,
from
I'm
us.
just kidding.
but
God, black
we don't
men
do that.
cheat.
But you know, other races have
Oh,
been known to do
gosh.
that.
That's true.
They've
Black
been
men don't
known.
cheat. We
It's been
do.
speculation.
Show me proof.
That's
They're
funny.
shown here, and here, cheating. No. Exhibit A through Z.
That's all Photoshop.
right, and the Greek alphabet.
Right,
We're gonna
exactly.
Throw it all in there.
That's
I got a
Photoshop.
paragraph on my phone. The races that cheating that black men don't do.
Yeah, you do. You said
See if
that.
I can find it.
Yeah, on the internet.
Oh gosh.
I took the exam and it came back 0. So
Hilarious.
'Cause we don't
No,
know
but
nothing
I
about
think that
Don't know
if you suspect that a guy is cheating,
You already know.
yeah, I think that then if you got to go looking for something, then you already know what it is.
You'll find it for
Yeah.
sure.
Just
So
let it
Then I
go.
don't understand how people get upset about it.
right.
that's what I don't get either.
If you
like,
went
you
looking,
mad.
if I'm looking for my shoes,
Right, come on.
Am I upset about it?
No.
No?
So if you go through my phone and go back 6 months just to find out, that I was texting
Not
some
6
chick or whatever.
months though.
Hey,
Yeah.
they
And
go
then be
back.
Some girls
Oh,
don't
I
stop
knew you
until
was
they
cheating.
find.
They
Why are you
go
upset?
purposely looking. They
Some
look
girls
for
are not going to
something.
stop till they find, or if they find one thing, they're going to blow it up and magnify it to make it that
Yeah.
what they were looking for. So your intent when you're looking is to find. You will find.
For sure.
Why were you talking
Nobody's
to
perfect.
Nappy Neck Tasha 2 years ago?
Nappy
Not
neck
nappy
Tasha.
neck.
I thought it was loose boots.
Not loose boots.
What's
What's her name? I remember that.
Loose boots
Loose
Judy or
Loose
something?
Boot Monica.
Monica.
Oh
No,
Lord.
not loose boots Monica.
No, I've never
Roughneck
been that
Tasha.
type of chick that's gonna look. Not until
I feel like this though.
Yeah,
There was
no.
this one time I was watching.
Wait. Are you nibbling on your?
I am. I can't taste anything, so it's really disappointing.
That was me all last week.
I'm like,
Yeah, he-
Y'all
Right.
keep all y'all little nasty
He just that's what he
germs
just
on
told me.
that
It was just more my sinuses because of the weather change.
Yeah, that's what it was, his
yeah,
sinuses.
me too.
side. Me too, but I've been taking my little pills. I've been popping my pills because otherwise y'all have been like, "What's wrong with her?"
Yeah, I feel like
it
I'm
would have
all
just been
nasty.
snot
Yes,
everywhere.
that's what I feel
Episode
like. Sorry guys.
With the
Nasty.
last one.
The last one we did with the Rain Report podcast,
Yeah.
and I just sound all congested.
That's what man, I'm over here like.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all would have thought I was a snot-nosed kid, so I was like, "Let me
Yeah,
take
I'm
this
definitely
pill
looking
today."
like, what's the little boy, Roscoe? I feel like Roscoe Martin, like I'm real snotty.
No, but it was one episode on Braxton Family Values, and the mom, what's the mom's name?
is her name
Mama Evelyn.
Mom
She
Evelyn.
said,
That just sound like an old name.
It does.
right,
That's a mama name.
That's,
Yeah.
a grandmama name.
That's somebody mama.
But they said if you ain't gonna do nothing about it, don't bring it up.
I know
and
that's
I was
right.
like, that's the truth. Because if you just want to fight, but then you still gonna be here tomorrow, why you bring it up?
Yeah, no.
If you ain't gonna pack and move out, just let it go.
No, that is what I did. Well, it take you to a breaking point. Like, but we were already broken up, so I did this with my son's father. Sorry, I'm talking about it, but
Yeah, we here
it was
now.
like after we had broken up, then I wanted to like look for stuff and find stuff. But it was like, bro,
But you wanted to confirm that you made the right
I
decision.
know, right?
You know,
But it was
sometimes you just
like-
need a
But did you
confirmation.
jump the
It
gun?
was, but it was just like,
you make
bro,
those false accusations.
nah. I'm like, the relationship is over.
Because you kind of
but
feel stupid because it's like you're like, I'm not going to take this. You ain't going to be treating me like this. But then like a week later, you still there.
You still there,
So, yes,
so-
you are. You
So
literally
shut up
are
and
taking
take it,
this.
right.
Right.
Or you get the fussing and he asks you what you want to eat and all of it just went out. the door.
Right, exactly.
Like, what you want to eat, girl? Shut up.
Chick-fil-A. Right.
Chick-fil-A.
On a I want Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. What? You know what? You get the fuck out.
Oh, God.
No, but that's how it is. You ain't
All
gonna
right,
do
last
nothing.
one on this list. One-nighters are okay. New rule: if you hit this, we go together. And I've actually heard people say that.
Yeah, that's like a meme.
Like, if I put this on you, we go together now.
It's enough for me, dog.
It's a no for me, too, dog. So I'm out. Not a one night. No.
No, you not down with that?
No.
My whole relationship
I'm
started.
down with the one nighter.
My relationship started on one night.
I'm out.
I think that again, you don't know them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no.
It's a no.
I'm
Yeah,
out.
that's how we started. We started on a one-nighter. We liked it. You start talking more.
I'm not saying a relationship can't, stem
Oh,
from
sure.
a
Yeah, it
one-nighter,
can.
but
For sure.
Just
But-
to say we go together right after that, no.
You hit
I
this,
think
we
you're
go
forcing
together.
it at that point.
Yeah.
You're saying like him right there, don't know his last name, but that's my bae.
Yeah, it's a no for
Because
me,
like
dog.
whatever your Facebook name is.
Right.
That's crazy.
Mo Cheddar Green.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think that's just forcing it.
No.
Knowing by their Twitter handle only.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, that's how they recognize
That's how I recognize their Twitter handle.
Because social media just has everybody
I don't know,
wrapped up.
Twitter.
Well, not
Yeah.
even Twitter, Facebook.
Facebook,
Whatever. They
yeah.
bump into
Instagram,
people,
yeah.
and because y'all talk on statuses, all day, y'all think y'all best friends.
Yeah,
Touche.
exactly.
That is true.
Exactly.
Touche.
Yep.
That one nighter,
A false
you may have
sense
been
of
talking to him.
familiarity.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
could have
I'm
been talking to
saying.
him on social media.
Oh, you feel like you
like
know
the
him.
conversation. Y'all fuck.
But then you didn't realize weird things about them,
Right.
like their disposition.
Yeah.
Or, just different things. Or, oh, you have 3 kids?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
You
Or the
never
way
took-
he
Like, you only post
breathe
the
or
baby.
laugh, like
Yeah.
stuff like that pisses
Right.
me off, like the little stuff, like
You never
ugh.
said anything about that.
Or people that are just outright socially awkward.
that.
So-
Yeah.
They're a big presence on Facebook. Which
Right,
They can't sit
yeah.
and have a talk
Yep.
with you or look you in the eyes or
Yeah.
anything like that.
That's this new
You're weird.
age people. Right? Exactly.
But that goes back to
like-
that
It's
whole
crazy though, because me
yeah.
and Chanel are really socially awkward. We are.
Like, so,
But nonetheless, I still agree with you. I'm just saying that
you
that's
like
who we
bread.
are.
Like, yes,
Well,
for
y'all don't
sure.
actually seem it.
That's probably why I like y'all show, because I'm socially awkward too.
We're really
I don't know.
socially
Y'all are different
awkward.
socially awkward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the real socially awkward people that can't even look up at you. They're sitting there like this.
Oh, like
Right,
somebody we
not
know
us.
who's like,
Oh, like Mimi?
yes,
Yeah.
No.
like Mimi, who can talk your ear off and be the voice of the voiceless, but you try to have a conversation with her face
She's
to
on the
face.
phone like
She's
this.
But I think for us, like, we don't open up until like we feel comfortable, like we
Yeah.
know you.
I
Then
think
you're
it's
like,
a-
really
should be
it's a
most people,
progressive.
though.
yeah, it's a
Right.
progressive. Like, you're not gonna get us like off the bat, but
Because on the other hand, you got the people that are always talking, but they're really not saying
You
it.
know,
Yes. Now, those people, dear Heavenly Father, please help me from killing them, Lord. Because
listen
when I
here.
tell you that I want to grab them by the neck, I'm like,
Just
we've been
talking
talking
and
for
talking
30
and
minutes
talking.
and you haven't said anything.
at
or
all.
they're contradicting themselves.
all they
Like,
do
Yes.
is talk about their acolytes. Like, I got this and I've done this and I work here. And, okay,
All
that's,
right.
that's in your bio section on your page. So
Right. Yeah.
Right.
what else about you? You know.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll be the
to me,
two.
my
they still
pastor.
haven't told you anything about them.
Right.
You've told me what you've done,
Right.
where you've been, where you work. Who are you?
Yeah,
You sound like that book now.
Two most people are.
Hey.
Like, honestly, that's how I look at people now. It's
my
like,
pastor,
okay.
he's literally 1 month exactly older than I am, and is a very, very, very educated man. Very, very educated. Just got his doctorate from Duke University a couple months ago.
Oh, Duke one
One
tonight
of the
too.
most
Nice.
socially awkward people I've ever met in my life.
And he's a pastor.
But
So
he's
he's-
socially awkward. It's one of those things
Is he-
where he's so educated, he really doesn't know how to interact
Okay.
with people.
'Cause
He's in like a box.
Okay.
So
He's
when
book
you see
smart.
Does that
him going-
come off when he's actually preaching?
No,
can
not at
he,
all.
So he can't connect. So he's connecting with people from the pulpit.
Yes,
But
right.
in person, so one-on-one, he's
He
like,
couldn't do it.
He's fantastic at his job.
Yeah, but and, I mean, he's a really nice guy,
Yeah.
very personable and everything, but he just is very socially awkward. Even down to the jokes he cracks. He just cracks himself up and everybody else is
I love that. I love
With-
that. I
Like,
think
they
it's
be
so
like-
funny.
everybody else is like,
Because then you just laugh at their laugh. You're like, the joke sucked. But
Right.
I'm laughing because you
Like, I
laugh.
don't know why that's
Right.
funny, but
But when he
Okay.
first came to Milwaukee, he's originally from the Bahamas. He was born in the Bahamas.
oh, that's
He went
Why'd
to
he
school.
come here?
He went to school. Well, he came here to go to college.
Okay.
So he went to school at the American Baptist College. He graduated there. Then he went to another HBCU, and then came here
All
with
right.
his master's. And I remember when I first met him, we went out to eat because he wanted to, go have dinner. I'm a church musician, by the way.
Yes.
Okay. What do you play?
Organ.
Everything.
Okay, cool.
Everything if you ask him nicely.
If you ask
Well, yeah, I do
them.
play the organ, guitar, drums, all that stuff. But I'm mainly an organist. So he wanted to go out to eat. We went out to eat. And he said something that he didn't know could have been offensive. I really didn't care. But he said, he was like, well, he's big on education. I was like, well, why don't you go back to school and, you could be so much more?
Oh,
Like, for one, bro, like, what do you have against blue-collar workers? Because I am a blue-collar worker. I love working with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's like, well, nothing, but you don't have to work as hard as you're doing. And I'm like, but I like what I do.
Yeah, if you
I was
like
like, and I
it,
make just as
right.
much money as you do. I was like,
You can actually make more as a blue
Right.
collar than the person who works with white collar.
That's crazy.
That
That's
is
crazy.
crazy.
and I had to realize he's really socially awkward. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that he was
Okay.
trying to
To
offend
him,
me.
yeah.
He was just trying to say, hey, I want you to do all you
Yeah.
can do.
Mm-hmm.
Education is the key.
Yeah. Chanel and I had a whole podcast. We did an episode
really
called.
No.
So Chanel and I did a podcast, and we said, was college worth it? So
No.
Chanel and I both have master's degrees.
Remember,
we
I
went
said
to
that on
wherever
my
we
podcast.
went.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just one of those things where I think that we've made it so important.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I remember when I was a freshman at Marquette, I went to go get my taxes done, and the woman doing my taxes, she was an accountant, and she said, oh, I've been doing my job for 50 years, and I don't have a degree. Now you need a degree
Yeah.
to do what I do. And that's been what's happening, is that the same job that you didn't need a degree for, now you need a degree for it. And now they're saying now you need a master's degree. So I think that it's
for
this whole
entry
weed out
level
process
stuff.
for entry level stuff.
They're starting to make having a degree as a form of separation. now.
Exactly, as a form of separation. And then not only that, but people got to understand, we need blue-collar workers.
Exactly. Absolutely, we do.
You can't kick all the foreigners out if you don't want us to be blue collar workers.
But because even in my company alone, we're at heart, we're really a manufacturing company. I work at the corporate office, but if there's no manufacturing facility,
Right.
if there's no plant, then there's
Shuts
nothing for me to
down.
do.
There's no
Exactly.
corporate.
I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be there because what are we making?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, the way that
Just a bunch of
commerce
people talking
works.
on the phones and sending emails. That's all.
No, but the way that commerce works is somebody has to make everything.
It's
Everything.
Exactly.
Everything has to be made. I work in supply chain. Everything has to be manufactured some way. So if we don't have blue collar workers, then there go my job. I don't know.
Listen, I'm
What we
always
gonna
like,
do?
I'm in education,
know
so
what we gonna
they
do.
A lot
don't
of
pay us,
white-collar-
period.
A lot of white collar
I don't know why they don't.
workers don't understand because they sit at a desk
Yeah.
all day and their hands are clean and they think we're at the top of the food chain. You really don't see what the blue collar workers are making down there, or I mean not making, but
Doing.
what they're
Doing.
grossing.
Right.
So, yeah, okay, that blue collar worker might only make $16, $17 an hour. But
Some
he's
of
not
them, but some
salary.
of them-
He's getting overtime after 8
Right.
hours.
Right.
They're working 55-hour weeks down there,
Yeah.
and they may be getting a bonus or incentive for whatever they're
Exactly.
making. So now they're clearing almost $80,000 a
I
year.
will say this: we're going to say some white collar workers because some of us go to the plant. Some of us have to be over the plant. Some of us have to do that. But I will say this: I remember I went to one of our plants, and I was the president of our African American Business Employee Resource Group, and I was like, you know what? Most of our African American population is at the plant. They're not. Right, so I'm going to go there where they are. And they was like, oh, y'all from corporate. Like, they didn't want to have nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? So we had to do, like, all these different things just to kind of break down that barrier because it was literally like a us versus them thing.
Yeah.
And I had to try to, make the case for we need each other because if y'all aren't here, I can't be over
Right.
there.
That's a lot of
Like,
companies.
literally.
That's a lot of companies
You know?
where the corporate and the working force are actually separated for no reason whatsoever. I work for a company where they literally have both in two separate buildings less than a half a mile away from each other.
Yeah.
And if you don't get promoted from the working force to corporate, a lot of folks don't even know what goes on over there.
Right, and I would agree with that. I would agree that a lot of people are highly disconnected.
Right.
But that's one thing that I will say that I love about my company is not only do we have that ability, if you want to be integrated with the plants, but also with the customers. Because I would never see our customer either, but I go to bike shows. I go, you know what I mean? Like, I go and do that stuff. And I see their passion. I see what, why different things mean so much to them. And for the folks they're the ones doing the work that really contributes the most to the actual product.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that is kind of phase one. That's kind of primary in terms of the business. So I don't know. I personally hate when people discredit people's jobs, because I know when I was at Marquette, there was this woman. She was a janitor, black woman. She cleaned that whole building. And I would get up and go to my first class and be funky and come back and then take a shower after she cleaned, because I could not stand getting in a community shower with blonde hair and a daggone. It just pissed me off. And I mean, she worked hard. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. I don't understand. I don't get it, because at the end of the day, we could get fired. We could lose our jobs. We have layoffs every year. Yeah. And you don't know. And some of those people that work at the plant make $30 and $45 an hour.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And get overtime.
And them degrees don't keep you warm at night. So you can have all the degrees in the world if you want.
Kanye West's first album when he got that whole skit about the chicks with the degree?
Listen, it don't.
Well, college, it was named College
Dropout.
Dropout.
College Dropout. He was like, listen, my dad left me all these degrees.
I add money in my pocket really, really fast.
But I did tell my stepson, Sam, I tell him all the time, I'm like, you don't want to go to college? I do not care. That's between you and your mama to work out, because I don't really care.
But see, I think that's the thing that I'm struggling with, is that right now everything is set up to tell your kids that they have to go to college, and that the messaging has been that they will not be successful if they do not go. That has been the messaging.
But you got to look at it. It doesn't matter what race, because you even got white folks buying their kids into college.
Yes, you do.
Right, there's a whole thing going on right now.
You can go to the fire cadet program. You can be, a police recruit. You can go to the armed forces if you want.
You can start your own business.
Go get you a trade.
Yes, you can. And then you can go to the plant and make $30, $45 an hour.
As long as you do something, you can do something. Because
you could also get.
And this is not a knock to your alma mater, but I know.
You can knock my alma mater.
7 or 8 people that have went to Marquette,
and they ain't doing nothing.
And I make more than they do without having to step foot in college, because they got these degrees and got $100K in student loans.
Ooh. Tell me about it.
And then they land an office job where they're only making
and barely can pay back their student loans.
$50,000 a year.
All right.
So that's the problem that I have with it. It's because, again, in my perception, the consistent messaging that I've been seeing is that you won't be successful unless you go to college. So then people are going to college and taking out all the student loans, but people aren't understanding I shouldn't go to Marquette and major in education.
Because
you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Marquette is a very expensive private school. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't I go to UWM? Mm-hmm. Or not only that, but people are so big on names now. Why are we not telling our kids to go to MATC, WCC,
and then move?
Do their prereqs, then go not to Marquette, go to Madison, go to Whitewater,
UWM,
go to UWM. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, where it's the messaging has just been get a degree, get a degree. It hasn't been what type of degree. If you're going to go to Marquette, you better be in business. You better be in engineering. You better be in something that's going to make you a whole lot of daggone money. Otherwise, say again.
They got law down there, too.
Yeah,
they do.
Yes. So if you're going to go for that.
Go for that and get a scholarship.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Go
because
for something where
you can go all day
for sure. Because that's my loans.
But you're gonna
real crazy.
But it's not gonna really. You're gonna be. It's gonna be just as if you didn't go. If you didn't major in the right thing, or if you didn't have the right financial aid or scholarship package, you're still gonna be check to check. And you know what I mean? It's not about you need to go. It's about you need to figure out what it is that you want to do and what's the most advantageous way to get there.
I agree. So with this 2020 election coming up, I'm all for whoever trying to get reparations to black people with student loans. Like, just take mine away.
Just take my student loans away.
And I forgive,
keep whatever check you're trying to cut
I forgive slavery. If you take all my student loans away, all is forgiven on my
I don't know about if I forgive slavery.
I forgive. I ain't gonna forget.
But I forgive. Close to it, though.
Listen, we real close. I if I forgive. I ain't gonna forget. But I can forgive you a little bit.
I'm gonna bring it up when you piss me off. But for the most part, I'm good.
But that $100K in student loans is real. Like, it's a mess.
I don't think they'll do that though for the reparations, because I don't think everybody has student loans.
You're right.
It wouldn't be fair.
I know.
It wouldn't be fair.
I'm against giving checks just to people. I'm against that because nothing will change.
Nothing.
Yeah, we just blow it.
Is
I know.
Everybody would have some bad weed.
Yeah.
If Bernie said it was do what he said he was going to do and try and get racism out of banks, so therefore,
that's all I ask.
We can get more.
No, the one Asian dude was like, everybody over 18 was going to get like a stipend or a credit or something. And he was like, forever. Like, everybody would just get that money. And I'm like, but for what, though?
Hey, don't.
I know, right? Don't say no.
Right.
Listen to more of what he got to say.
Let's find out where he's going with
Black
this.
person to check for $5,000.
Yeah, I think it was like that.
$5,000 is spent.
Sad.
Right.
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
And
Well,
let's be
it's
honest,
not
when you're
significant
grown,
enough.
$5,000 really is.
Man,
It's really
kind of money.
nothing.
I'm doing
So-
bills right now, and they already racked up to $2,300, and I haven't even done nothing yet. So,
No, that's not enough to make a significant change. I mean, if the goal is to level the playing field, we're going to need a whole lot more.
We
than
need
we
a
gotta
lot
be
of
more
stuff.
it's got to be more intangible.
But it has
things.
to be the infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
It has to be we have to be taught how to live, how money works, how to invest, how to save. I mean, it has to be a long-term plan. It can't be short-sighted and we're going to blow that money so
right
fast.
through it, for
I've
sure.
always said-
How is that different from a refund check? A
Listen,
refund check never changed
we
anybody's
all have
trajectory of their
bad
life.
wigs.
Some refund
and
checks are
lashes.
bigger than 5,000.
Right.
Every year.
Right.
Exactly.
And they go and
Buy hair.
And they buy their
and
hair.
clothes,
Ferragamo shoes.
and
Yeah.
buy cars that they can't really afford.
Right.
Then they repossess. Come.
Right, exactly. Like, we ain't got time for that.
But I agree with you 100%. I pitched that to my church, and they're looking into that.
What?
Financial planning and
Yeah.
credit repair.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody needs that. I've always said they need to take one of the math classes they make you take in school and make it 100%
It's
business
absolutely-
education.
It should
That's
be.
an advantage that they have over us.
Yeah.
From the time that their kids, their parents are teaching
them how to manage money.
works,
How money works.
Because
how to
algebra
keep-
2 didn't teach me nothing.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
How money
Right.
works.
I can
Yeah.
care less about the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah,
I need to know how
yeah.
to balance this checkbook.
Yeah.
But
I
to
don't
tell
care.
somebody, hey, trying not to use more than 33% of your credit card and then pay that off every
Right.
day. And,
They don't even understand.
They wouldn't
33.
know.
Yeah.
Why give me $1,000 and I can't use the whole $1,000?
Hey.
It's a
But
wrap.
that's what we think. We got $1,000 credit
And not
card.
only
and then
that,
we only
but
got to pay the
just-
$23 a month.
Right, exactly.
Or-
Like, cool.
Yes,
Or-
I got it.
Or your
Yes.
family would teach you just pay it all off and not understanding how making monthly payments work better for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of miscommunication, but not only that, but I think the biggest thing is living within our means.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we
don't even know what that is.
we don't know what that, and a lot of people don't really know how much money they make. They know how much money they gross, but they don't really know what they net. So they're living off gross, but you working with net.
Right.
So you already behind.
Yep.
Facts.
I've always had a simple rule for myself, and it took me a long time to get here, so don't act like I came in the game with this. I was better part of 32 years old when I figured this out. Live with the 40-hour check.
Yep.
Now, if I work 45,
Yep.
if I work 50 hours,
Yep.
put that money in a savings or something somewhere,
Yeah.
but live within 40 hours. Reason being is because if I ever have to go back to not getting overtime and I got to get a 40-hour
Yeah.
check,
You already used to
I'm
living that way.
comfortable
Yes.
living
Yeah.
that way.
And it's within your means. So anything else is a bonus.
Y'all know that's
anything else is a
right.
bonus.
But that's hard for people to do. They get that extra money. We're going to Duke's.
Listen, buying some bundles out here.
I'm not saying you shouldn't treat yourself every now and then. Just there's no reason to be treating yourself
Every
single
Yeah.
week.
weekend.
Every week.
Take
You
a
get
break.
paid every Friday or every other
Stay
Friday
home.
or twice a month. There's no reason you should be treating yourself every time you get paid.
Stay home.
But I understand why we do though, because like you said, if you're your only black person at work and you doing this and doing that, when that Friday come, you like, I just want to live in the moment and be free and worry about that on Monday. So I get it.
When all
I
that
get why
stuff
we
clear
do
on
it.
Monday, you be like,
Right.
Man.
Because I know I will say this. When I go out of town, for some reason, I think money doesn't count. I think calories don't count. I just be wilding out.
Wilding.
I'm like, oh no, everybody, it's on me.
Right.
It's okay.
I got this.
No, you're talking about vacation, right?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
vacation.
Well,
Okay.
then that's fine.
Yeah,
like if you
vacation.
just going out of town doing it, like
No.
ball out, come back.
Vacation.
But that's a benefit I actually get from working with older white people. See, while they think they're, shaming me because, they say stuff that's racist, but it's not
You really
directly
learn it.
racist. Like, oh, you live in Milwaukee?
Right.
Why would you
Yes.
live in Milwaukee?
Right.
Oh,
Stuff like
wow.
that.
Move if you wanted to, because they know what I make, because we
They
all
make
make
the
the same
same.
amount.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you could move out of Milwaukee if you wanted to. And I'm thinking, how rude is that?
Motherfucker.
That's my home.
Right. Yeah, I'm born here.
I live in your corner.
My whole legacy is in Milwaukee.
Like y'all,
I want to be out in Oak Creek.
Right.
Y'all don't shovel it.
Right. Trying to be
Shovel
outcasted
inside.
out there.
Y'all don't.
Oh,
you get
God.
stuck on the side of the road.
But I
trying to
do
live
learn
out
a
there.
lot from them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know these guys, are pulling in $110,000 a year, but they're driving little Toyota Corollas to work.
Yes, they are.
They're staying
They
in the
sure
houses
are.
that their
They
parents
wearing the
left for them
same.
when
Yes,
they
they
died.
are. They wearing the same shoes from 5 years ago. They
Yeah,
have not
Monarchs.
bought any new clothes.
They bring
And
the
I will
same
say
little
this.
box lunch to work every day.
Yes,
That's,
they do.
You know what? That's the hardest thing I had to learn how to do at work. We have a cafeteria there, And it's so easy just to grab something from the cab. I had to learn to start bringing my own food. You know, I say like $300 a month.
Yes,
My
I bet
old
you
guy
do.
told me that at work, and it made sense, and that's been my rule ever since.
I will say that I agree. You know, being one of the only black people at work, you get to see their lifestyle and what they do. And also for their kids, you know how we go. We buy our kids. We spend $1,000 at Christmas. Fill up the tree, get a big tree. They'll go buy their kid one thing for their birthday, one thing for Christmas. Like their whole lifestyle and the way that they view money is just different.
Yeah.
But
and it's not that they
their
can't;
kid
it's a
has
choice.
a trust account.
Right.
Their kid does have a trust. Right.
They turn
So when that kid
18,
had
20.
21.
They be straight.
Right. They good.
They got scholarships going into school.
Mm-hmm.
They got room and board covered. They don't even got to move out if they don't want to.
They sure don't.
One of my
And they still
coworkers
sitting on money.
set his child up when he got married, him and his wife, a house.
Yeah.
Made
Yep.
the down payment and everything
Yep.
for them to move into their own house.
That's how they do it.
And mortgages.
But that's
are
how
way
you
cheaper
pass
than
on
rent.
generational wealth. That's what we don't have.
Exactly.
You know,
we
they
don't know
also have
how.
life insurance,
Yeah.
and that's what we don't
We
have.
don't have. We doing
Man, if I see one more
GoFundMes.
GoFundMe.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
It's terrible.
But you know,
One more GoFundMe.
we gotta
Do better.
we gotta do better.
got
And it
to.
starts with the reparations.
It does. Listen,
Everybody-
Bernie,
$5,000.
Everybody take your
Right.
reparations
Kamala,
and save.
somebody. I'm voting for whoever trying to be on these reparations.
Look,
is
I
what
just
I'm
want
on.
you to give us
I'm gonna vote
fair
for Bernie.
housing.
Bernie, you know, has been down for the cause.
He has.
He ain't like he want to answer
I don't
about
know how long he
reparations.
gonna
I
make
need
it.
a clear answer. What you trying to
Because
do,
he
Bernie,
ain't trying
for
to
the
be stupid. I
reparations?
ain't going to answer that just
Well, he
yet.
said flat out he didn't giving checks out. He said he's going and his reparations is going to be in the system.
But
Which
you know what's
all-
gonna
I'm
happen.
okay for that.
I'm
I'm
all
down
for
for
that.
that.
But he knows what's going to happen if we just give out.
Yeah,
People,
that's
first
gonna be
of
a
all,
mess.
a large part of the population is about to be out here just getting high.
Yeah, they gonna be
Then,
doing too
Yeah,
much.
Then the other
You
things
right.
people gonna be
Legal.
doing is buying bundles and stuff like that.
They
People
do
about to be
too.
booking flights, and I know I'm gonna be one of them. I'm gonna be like,
Hey.
yep, I am going to Bali on second thought.
Hey, I will be there.
Shoot.
I'm just saying,
About to be
same
on
way.
tour. That's what I'm gonna be. Y'all gonna be like, did she have a job?
Hey.
What is she
I
doing?
need about
Abu
half
Dhabi.
of my
Right.
student loans.
Oh,
out
that
here.
direct deposit.
Right, that's just it. We in business.
First off,
Look.
I'm sick. I
No, it's gonna be like, first off, if you the regular labor, the staff, and the crew, and if you down with them, then if you do, I got my check.
Yes.
You gonna
See
get the
y'all
phone.
later. Right, exactly. I'm be
The
all
world
kinda
will be
brand
so
new.
trifling. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm gonna be one of the trifle people. That's what I'm saying. We can't do that
Listen,
because I know I'm gonna act brand
because
new.
I can already tell, like, when
Not
people
off
get
of
their
5Gs,
stamps
though.
and all
Man,
that stuff,
yeah.
like, you know, like, when the
Yeah.
stamps hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can't go nowhere near
Yeah,
a grocery store.
When they hit.
cannot.
When
You
the stamps
already
hit.
I just
know.
wanted to come here and get some diapers.
Like,
for the
right,
girls.
like,
You made it sound like a stampede or something.
That's how it feel at the store.
Man,
With the stamp
the line be
Just
long.
like, I'm just trying to get
Everything-
some tissue, God. I
everything
can't
be
get what I
missing.
need.
See, that's why I just shop on Amazon. I don't even go to the store. I'm like, I can't be
Southwest
bothered with it.
Airlines, you ain't even going to be able to get through to this.
At
route.
all.
Everybody booking flights.
Everybody about to be
Man.
out here.
Like, where's the All-Star game at this
Listen.
year?
Right, exactly.
Atlanta and Miami going to be busy.
Busy.
But yeah,
Ooh, yes. Ooh, that would be a mess.
Yeah.
Or Dallas.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
Dallas.
that was a new one. That was a new
Three
one.
hot spots for people from
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. You
I be
already
looking like,
know.
dog, is there anywhere else to go other than the three cities? Y'all know it's a whole world around us, right?
That's funny.
Try to go to LA for a
Oh,
change. Do something over there.
man. Y'all in Dallas again? Gosh.
Just buy property there. It'll be cheaper.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
hey, if that check is right,
Hey,
I
listen.
might.
I'm going to buy a house in Dallas.
Just rent it out.
I know that Airbnb.
Yeah,
now.
Airbnb.
For sure.
That's the new lick.
Yes,
that
it
it
Every
is.
really
week, somebody on my timeline is traveling to Dallas.
Dallas.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they
Holler at
are.
me.
Traveling, I got people that moved to Dallas.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
But I like to thank all y'all for joining us
we would like
tonight.
to thank you
Yes,
for having
thank
us.
you for having
This
us.
was very exciting. We got to know Brunch with Besties a little bit better.
Yes, and we had a chance to get to know you guys.
Yes, thank you guys.
So what you was on the fence
Right.
before? You was like, nah.
Yes. Well, thank you for the subscription.
I only heard of y'all podcast actually one time, and that was at Trivia Night.
Yep.
Okay.
'Cause we were part of Seth's Trivia Night too.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, we was here.
Stephanie
But because
Sweat.
I drive majority of the day.
So he don't make a lot of times.
Oh.
That time he did.
I
And
listen
he
to
listen-
podcasts
he listen
all
to
day,
pod
from
all
sun up
day.
to sundown
All
almost.
right.
Hey.
So
Well, add us to your rotation then.
so speaking of that, how can people find y'all?
Oh, we are everywhere. Everywhere you stream. So we're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play. We are on
The Good News Radio
yes,
app.
for sure. Download that app for sure.
Oh, yeah, 83. Oh, man, it's going to take too long.
You ain't got nothing but space and opportunity. Just stop listening to us for a while.
Nice cover photo, though.
Thank you. You can find us on Instagram at Brunch with Besties Podcast, on Facebook, Brunch with Besties Podcast, or you can look at our website, brunchwbesties.com.
Twitter,
Brunch W Besties on Twitter as well. Yeah, just everywhere.
we're everywhere.
You want to give your info, Tori?
For what?
Real bar talk? Or
Oh.
you just don't care?
No, because Casey would kill me if I don't.
She would.
Y'all can listen to us at Real Bar Talk. That's Real Bar Talk on Facebook, Real Bar Talk MKE on Twitter. We are available on Spreaker, SoundCloud.
Everywhere you listen to your streaming platforms.
something like
Everywhere.
That's the best way to do it.
There you go. Right.
Because I'm finding us on apps I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, me too. But I think other people are adding us.
Yeah, I didn't know. I think people are doing that because I found us on an app called the Himalayas.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I saw
we've been running
something
with that
and
one.
somebody wrote, they were like, I don't own this podcast, but I'm adding it. And I was like, so you grabbed our RSS? Like, what happened?
But I think that's what a lot of people are doing because they want to keep listening to you. So
On
instead
their
of
own, yeah.
So instead of hunting you down, they'll just grab your RSS. It's like, okay, it comes here.
Right. I'm like, cool.
Because
Have at it.
that's what I do with Amanda
Go for
Seals
it.
show.
Spread the RSS.
Her small little doses. I just have to come right to my server and listen on there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it'd be cool to listen to. Don't let nobody know we got it so she don't come suing us. And
I know
Right.
that's right.
Because I ain't got that kind of money.
Listen, shh. Don't tell nobody.
All right, so I'd like to thank all y'all for tuning into this episode of the Definitely Fresh Show as we continue down the road to 200. Make sure you check us out on, like I said, on all streaming platforms, iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, or wherever you listen to your podcast at. With that being said, Juan, get your ass back in the studio ASAP. We out.